Okay, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. And as people are coming in, I will do my best to either add them in or make sure we get everyone in the room on time. So welcome, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you can see our presentation for today. And make sure I get my chat up here. Great. So welcome, everyone. My name is Will Radcliffe. I use he, him pronouns. And I am one of the career coaches at Career Services here at UW-Bothell. So again, welcome everyone to this presentation. You found your way here because you have either an interest in wanting to go into the arts and media meta majors pathway, or you're curious about different types of majors that can get you a career within arts and media, generally speaking. So what we're going to be able to talk about today are some of those options for this particular meta major. And we're going to talk about some of the ways you can get involved in career as you're starting to decipher your studies and get a better sense of what that looks like long term. So we'll be talking about a few things today, but my hope is that you'll get something out of this that will be transformative and also know a little bit more about what Career Services does and how we can help you during your time as a UW-Bothell student and even after you graduate to get information that can help you make these decisions a little bit easier during your time here. So a little bit about what Career Services is as a service and what we do. I'm going to go into a little bit of an overview. So Career Services essentially is doing one of three things. We aim to help you explore what your academics are, what you're studying and how those are going to connect with career interests that you have, depending on what you study. We ideally also want to help you build effective job searching skills and skills that are going to help you navigate or point out internships or eventually positions that you have an interest in. And then lastly, we aim to connect you with the employment community. So that can look like networking opportunities through tools such as LinkedIn. We also try our best to really have you be meeting with alumni in the community who are doing things that you have an interest in already. So our goal is to really help you with that, that goal so you can understand a little bit more and meet people who are doing the things that you're interested in. So one of the ways to really get involved is to meet with us. So there's a couple different ways to do this. You can meet with us by scheduling an appointment, which you can do virtually or in person when we are back on campus. So you can do this by coming into onto our website and scheduling there. And we'll go into a little bit more detail if you're interested in how to actually do that once we dive deeper into this presentation today. So a little bit more about career paths in arts and media. So kind of given the different range of majors you can study within this meta major, there are a lot of different routes you can take. So one of the great things about choosing a major within these fields is that you can kind of blend it together to really try different things out. So this list of different kind of career options is connected to the fact that there are not necessarily one route to take or one particular type of career outcome that you're going to get by studying any of these meta major or the majors within this meta major. So some of them listed here are journalism, public relations, technical writing, education, game design, graphic design and marketing, user experience, or what we call UX UI design, working in museums and cultural centers, and media broadcasting. So as you can see, the application is broad, and it's depending on what it is you're wanting to study and based on what you're learning within those types of majors, you're going to be getting skills that are going to prepare you for some of those different career options. So it really helps, even at this stage in your education, to be thinking about the ways that you're actually connecting the dots on some of the skills that you're going to be getting and how they're going to be applied to careers such as the ones listed here. So whether that's, getting an idea of what some of those career pathways are, and then talking with a career coach or an academic advisor to really piece that together, that's what we can really help you to do. And as part of your kind of support team, you can kind of think of me in a lot of ways as a career coach, as one of those people you can come to really think about how you're applying those principles in the classroom to connecting it to a career option. So just know that that's something that I really specialize in and kind of want to focus on as part of someone who you would be working with. So we're actually going to stop the share here, and I'm actually going to show you all a tool that you can use to actually look at how to search for particular types of jobs within this meta major. So I'm actually going to stop my share here, and I'm going to reshare. Link. I'm going to show you how to get to this page. Let me turn off my video here. So in looking at how to essentially find different career options within your meta major, it's a great tool we have on our website. So if you go to our website, uw.edu/careers, you can actually go to our main webpage and click on this tool here called Majors and Career Exploration. So what this tool is going to allow you to do on our webpage is going to allow you to move to a tool called What Can I Do with This Major? So it's right in the middle of the page here. And if I click on it, what it's going to do is it's going to take us to a resource that is really helpful in helping us decipher the different types of applications that we can do. So in the slide previously, I mentioned a couple of different options you could kind of narrow down your interest in. However, there's a much wider range of opportunities that are out there. And instead of kind of trying to kind of piece that together on your own or thinking about, searching on Google and different platforms and different resources, this particular one is a very useful one, and it's one that we really verify as being one that can be helpful for you. So it's called What Can I Do with This Major? And in your case, with this particular meta major in arts and media, you can actually go to this cluster of majors called Art, Design, and Performance. And what this will allow you to do is it'll allow you to narrow down the different types of majors that you want to do based on basically majors that are offered around the country at different institutions. So one of the benefits of UW-Bothell is that while some of the majors don't necessarily directly align with the same wording, UW-Bothell's majors definitely fall within a lot of the categories that are mentioned in this tool. So what this allows you to do is actually allows you to kind of freely look through some of these majors to see what is possible within your particular major. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull kind of a particular major so you can see exactly what is in it. So if we just pulled up art, for example, we're going to see, similar to what we saw on the previous slide with museums and galleries, it's going to break up the major into different areas. So these different areas basically will give you different kind of breakdowns of different types of positions you can apply for, or you can have a career in. And it keeps you a fairly simple structure, but the goal of it is to not only tell you what is possible, but it allows you to know who's employing for those types of positions and general strategies that you might use to acquire or to reach that goal. So it's not just going to be what you're learning in the classroom, but maybe some experiences that you want to have to get further to that. So it's a great tool to use while you're also studying in your classes to make sure you're on the right track. So you can see the list kind of goes on as we scroll down. There's different areas of application, and you'll get these keywords that help you kind of narrow down a particular focus that you might want to put your attention into. One of the other benefits of this tool generally is that it allows you to kind of figure out what is possible within a major. So particularly if you're interested, as maybe you've heard that in a particular type of major, there's only certain applications that you can go into. This tool allows you to really open the door to thinking about different ways you can connect what you're learning and how that can be connected to a different type of career, like opportunity. So a good example would be, if we kind of keep scrolling down here, you'll see for the art major, we'll see different applications to media, photography. We'll even go into sales as well. So you'll see how the ways you can actually take some of your skill sets and apply them into different industries as well. So at the end of each of these major pages, you'll see what's called general information. And this will allow you to kind of get a broader context of what it is you are wanting to know about this particular major. And if I want to go back to this page here, you'll see there's a lot of different places you can dive into. So it's worth taking a look at this page just to see kind of what opportunities there are and just getting a sense of how you can apply yourself within this particular focus area. So with that being said, that's the first tool I wanted to bring up today. And this is, again, one job searching, or in essence, career exploring tool that you can use to be thinking about how to explore your meta major further. And just for this group, as you are kind of thinking of any questions that you might have, feel free to keep them. And we're going to have an opportunity to answer any of those questions at the end, should you have any. So please do, if you have any questions, keep them ready to go, and we'll talk about them at the end. Okay, so we go back to our presentation. Okay, so we talked about what can I do with this major. Next, we're going to talk about different ways to explore your opportunities, whether they are in the classroom, on campus, or outside of the classroom through what we call internships. So in a lot of ways, what you're wanting to do as you're kind of thinking about some of those interests that you've acquired, things that you might want to get involved with, then the next step would be thinking about how you want to get experience within those particular fields. And a lot of that experience can come from the classroom itself, but it always helps to couple that with experiences in the field. So when we say in the field, what we typically mean are experiences where you can work directly in a company or within the business setting or the company setting. So to do this, we do what's called internships, which are typically short-term opportunities to provide practical experience in that particular area. So internships can be found in a variety of different ways. We'll be talking about a couple different ways to search for internships today, but ultimately it's going to be something that you're going to want to be thinking about as you are getting closer to graduation. And in a lot of ways, you can certainly be looking for internships as soon as possible. And if you're curious about wanting to know the process of how to identify internships, we can certainly, after our discussion today, meet for career coaching to get a better sense of what that looks like. So some examples of internships within your particular meta major in arts and media might be being a graphic design developer intern, being a UX UI design intern, a social media intern, public relations intern, or maybe we could call what's called an article contributor. So especially if it's going more towards a journalist background. So with that being the case, there's an internship for practically any type of role that you want to go towards. So it's really just finding a way to identify those positions and getting a sense of what skills you're going to be learning in that particular role. Now, there are other ways to get involved in experience while you're a student. And there's 3 other categories I'm going to bring up today. The next one is service learning. So when thinking about ways that you can get involved while being a student, UW-Bothell specifically has great ways to get involved with what's called community-based learning and research, which is also short for CBLR. And so these types of opportunities are great ways to take what you're learning in the classroom, think about a particular issue or concept that you want to challenge within our region or within our country or the world, and really work with our team at UW-Bothell to really identify an opportunity to really work within the community. So these are great ways to really take what you're learning, apply it, and also be able to identify ways that you're gaining valuable skills that will help you towards your end goals, whichever those end up being. So if you're interested in more of those opportunities, community-based learning and research is a great way to get involved, and I'll be sure to link that in the end of our conversation today so you have that information. Another way to get involved is by doing research. So you can do this through what's called undergraduate research, which is essentially a faculty mentored research and creative practice opportunity that can be offered at UW-Bothell. So typically first year and pre-major students are definitely encouraged to get involved with research early on. And a lot of times this comes into, speaking with your faculty who are, perhaps doing research, or they teach a class that you have a particular interest in, and getting more familiar with the process of connecting with them so you can see what opportunities those could be. Research can take many different forms and utilize many different skills. So it's really just a matter of taking a look and seeing what makes the most sense for you and what kind of opportunities are available at a given quarter, depending on the resources that you have. Now, the last area I'm going to focus on are things that can happen, again, more so outside of the classroom. And in a lot of ways, particularly in arts and media, it's a great thing to do is if you have a particular passion, a skill that you want to work towards or expand on, using the time to develop personal projects or do freelance work. So freelance, particularly in the sense of maybe you are interested in photography and you want to develop that skill, then you can work, whether it's contracted or through specific means to actually get your work noticed or work to have employment to actually utilize those skills as a photographer. So these types of opportunities are going to help build your experience, but they're also ways to really help you grow at your own pace and help you, develop how you want to learn. So all of these opportunities are really going to help serve you in the long run to be able to get the opportunities you need or the experience that you're wanting. And ultimately, they're going to be geared towards, essentially experiences that help you figure out what you like and maybe experiences that you don't like as much, but you're going to be able to clarify that through these opportunities. Okay. So we talked a little bit about what types of opportunities are out there, particularly for your meta major. And now we're going to dive a little deeper into the types of platforms you can use to actually, again, search for opportunities after you've done some career exploration and after you've started to identify what it is you want to do. So there's actually two great platforms that we recommend and that as a student you have access to right away. And those are Handshake and LinkedIn. So I'll start by explaining a little bit more about what Handshake is and give you a little bit of context into that tool. And then we'll move into talking about LinkedIn and how LinkedIn can be a great platform for you as well. So the first opportunity is, like I mentioned, Handshake. And many of you may already know about this tool. It's something that you have access to as a student from the get-go, from as soon as you start taking classes. And I'm going to go ahead and jump to one of our pages where you can see specifically how Handshake works. So if we go back to our web page, our career services web page, you will actually be able to see on our front page where it says off to the right hand, find jobs and internships. So you can actually see that for off-campus and on-campus opportunities, you can search through this button here, which will take you to the Handshake platform. So if I jump in there, it'll prompt me to log in with my credentials. And then once I'm in there, it'll show me my dashboard, which all of you will be able to see as kind of your job board. So essentially what Handshake can be really useful for is it can help you to not only search for positions through the job board over here to the left, it also helps you identify employers. And it's also a great place to do networking through events that we have currently. Our career fairs are hosted virtually through Handshake. And we also have a variety of different events that you can attend that might be specific to your particular interests or major. So all that being said, there's a lot going on Handshake. And so one of the best ways to get started with the tool is to start with your profile. So if you see off to the top right-hand corner, you'll see where it says profile. And in this tool, you'll be able to essentially fill out your profile and kind of give a sense of what you're interested in. And as you build experience, you'll be able to fill out your profile much like you would do for, let's say, what's called a resume. And ultimately, the goal of doing a profile is that you have the ability to identify positions that you might be interested in looking for. So we're not going to necessarily go into too much depth into filling out your profile, but the goal of this is to not only indicate what you're studying, which is up here, but ideally you also want to tell the Handshake platform what types of roles you're interested in. So in this particular example, it's actually tailored for an accounting student. But if we wanted to work on on an arts and media degree, we would choose one of the majors available within that meta major, and we would fill it out accordingly. And as you build that experience, you'll be able to tailor it to that particular role. Now, the way this can be really helpful once you've done that is if we go to the jobs tool. then you'll see that you can actually look for positions based on those keyword searches you put in your profile. So in a lot of ways, this one again is tailored to more of the business student side. However, if we're going to be using this tool, some things to kind of think about are how you're using the filtering system. So for example, if I want to be able to narrow it down based on an internship that I want to pursue, that could be a part-time position on campus, full-time. And there's even additional tools you can use. You can search specifically for paid roles. You can actually search for, if we go to employer preferences, you can search for your year in school, your major, which is really helpful, and your graduation date. So there's a lot of different ways you can tailor this. And once you've done that, you'll start to be able to identify positions that maybe resonate with you. And so if I wanted to do, like, for example, social media, it'll populate based on those interests. And one thing you'll want to do too is you'll want to just make sure you update your location so you can see exactly where you want to be. So if we did Seattle with a radius of 50 miles, it'll give us a general ballpark of where we want to be situated locally. And again, you'll see that there were 135 positions found as of today. So because of that, you can see that this platform is regularly updated. It's always going to have positions that are ideally going to be valid positions that you can find in other job boards as well. But it's a great platform to get familiar with as you're starting to identify, or maybe you're just wanting to figure out what types of roles are out there. This is a great way to kind of work with that and figure out how you want to identify that in the future. So Handshake is very valuable in the sense that it can be used right away, and it's something you can get familiar with as you use it from time to time. And I would say it's also going to be valuable for you because you can also schedule appointments with us in career services through Handshake. So because of that, if you want to meet with a career coach like myself, you can schedule through the Handshake platform, and that's how we can schedule time to talk more about your career interests. Okay, so the next tool I'm going to talk about is LinkedIn. So I actually already have that pulled up here. So I'm going to shift over here. And again, if you have any questions about any of the things we're talking about today, definitely feel free to jot down your questions, and we'll talk about them at the end of our presentation today. So now we're on LinkedIn. So a brief overview of LinkedIn is that it is a platform that is free to use. It is a social media platform, but it's geared towards professionals. And so because of this, the professional network of LinkedIn is really valuable and is very widely used now to really help people find connections within companies, to do professional networking, and to maintain relationships that they may have gained from their time in school into their professional opportunities that they've had, and helps to really update people and keep them informed on where they are going in their next professional journeys. So because of that, it's always a great idea to start LinkedIn when you feel comfortable, of course, but once you are at a place where you want to start growing your connections, and this is something you can do as a student. And so I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to get involved with LinkedIn to start identifying the types of opportunities you can be doing as a student. So this is something I wish I knew as a student, because when I was starting to use LinkedIn, I'd already graduated. So in a lot of ways, it was a later start for me to start to build my own connections. But there's actually a great way to actually search directly for UW Bothell. And a great place to begin is to actually search the UW Bothell alumni page, which is actually available to you. It's a public page, and it's something that you can start to build your connections through. So if we just type in UW Bothell in the chat up here, it'll take us to this page. And then I'm actually going to select on the alumni tab right here. And what this is going to do is it's going to take me to a kind of different list of connections that we can then utilize. And what it'll do is it'll show different ways that I can connect with people who have graduated or currently are attending UW Bothell. And what's nice about it is you can break down where people work, and you can also break down by what people studied, which is really cool. So if I want to connect with someone who has specifically studied the major that I've taken while at UW Bothell, then I can find someone who has that major and also maybe has a particular career path that I'm interested in. And if we scroll to the bottom of this page, it'll take us to a list of different individuals who fit that criteria. And also maybe you'll get a sense of when they graduated. So you can see kind of how recent of a graduate they are. You can kind of see if they've had an opportunity to have some of the experiences that you're wanting to talk about. And it's a great opportunity to connect with people. Because of the fact that you're alumni, it's a great stepping stone to connect and to build, because in a lot of ways, connecting with alumni, they are going to be more than happy to want to connect with you back because they have that shared experience with you. And so because of that, it's a great bridging stone to begin your process of using LinkedIn. And if you ever have any questions about how to really maximize this tool, we can certainly, again, be happy to follow up with a coaching appointment. And we can talk a little bit more about the strategies you might use, which typically come in the form of doing what's called informational interviewing, where you actually meet with the person, whether it's virtually or in person, albeit if the conditions are right, to be able to talk more about the type of work that they have done and to ask them about their experience in those roles. So that being said, we'll go back to our presentation. And so you can see here that we talked a little bit about the two different kind of ways to search for positions and identify people within a network to start the process of finding opportunities within your meta major. One of the other ways to kind of really think about this process is to think about what employers are going to be looking for. So in essence, in any kind of major or choice that you want to go into, no matter what it is that you're interested in, it's always good to be thinking about currently, how are you developing skills that are going to be relatable to those types of career options? And no matter what it is, these are some of the skills that across the board, employers have said that they really look to validate or to look for in a strong applicant. And so even right now, as you're taking your classes and you're starting to kind of piece it together, these are some of the things that you can be pulling from your classwork, maybe previous or current work experience that you have. And we call these skills transferable skills because they can be taken into any context. So you can see these percentages. There are a couple that kind of stand out here, such as problem solving skills, the ability to work in a team, strong work ethic, leadership, communication skills. So these are all going to be really helpful as you're looking at skills that you want to develop and that you want to share with, that you have on tools, on application tools such as resumes, cover letters, these types of things. But there are also things that you're going to be wanting to be noting that you've learned as you're pursuing internships, full-time positions, etc. So we thought we'd show this to you just to give you that context, and you probably will identify some of the skills that you've already been identifying so that you can see that. Great. So now that we've talked a little bit about some of the transferable skills, I'm also going to talk about skills that you can gain not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well through a tool called LinkedIn Learning. So LinkedIn Learning is a great tool that it's actually built within the LinkedIn platform that we just talked about. It's an online system that you can use to essentially watch courses and get certifications based on those types of classes, and they're going to help you build transferable skills, maybe technical skills or specific skills to what it is you're interested in. And they're all things you can do through your LinkedIn platform as a student for free. So this is something that is really valuable to do in addition to your classes if you have the time. It can also be something to just utilize to think about how to prepare for the workforce, no matter what that workforce looks like for your particular interests. And it's a great place to start to build your profile so you can start to showcase the skills that you've demonstrated. So the link is actually here to activate that. And again, for anyone who's attended this presentation today, we can definitely send this link to you. But for those tuning into this recording, definitely take a look at this link below. And you'll just want to use your UW credentials to log in. Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to go again over some of the resources that we have with Career Services and then we'll open it up to a Q&A. So ultimately with career services, what you're going to be able to tap into through our services is the appointments that we offer. So we offer 30-minute to 1-hour appointments. The 30-minute appointments typically cover the topics of career exploration. We also review application materials and job interview searching, job internship searching. But we also do interviews, mock interviews, which are up to an hour. And those can be ways to practice your interviewing skills so you have that knowledge. And so we also help too, if you're interested in wanting to go to graduate school and you just want to get more information, we have that available to you as well. So all of that being said, we highly encourage you to check out our services, to schedule with us, just to meet with us in the same room. And if you have any questions or you just want to elaborate on anything, we want to be able to meet with you to talk through that with you. We also have different virtual resources which you can access on our website, which I will put in the chat as well. But it also includes our videos, webinars, presentations that can help you learn at your own pace. It also includes those links that we reviewed today, such as what can I do with this major? There's some other ones too, such as Candid Career, a tool called Voice, and Vault. And so all of these different databases and systems are going to help you navigate and identify positions that maybe make sense for you. And especially if you want to search for positions based on salary, for example, you can use databases like Voice to really identify that further. And lastly, Handshake and LinkedIn are key aspects of our resources. So if you want to really get to know how to maximize those two tools, we can definitely help you further in thinking about how you want to utilize it. So all that being said, there's a lot to offer, lot to think about, but at the same time, it's really meant to go at your own pace. So as you're kind of learning information, as you're thinking about questions that you might have, we're a resource available to you, and our doors are open to you to ask any of the questions that come to your mind. And then I will wrap up the presentation today with kind of just a little bit more contact information. So again, everybody, my name is Will Radcliffe, and I am a career coach with UW-Bothell. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can email us at career@uw.edu. Our website is also mentioned here at uwb.edu/careers. And you can also give us a call at our number below here. And we have an Instagram as well. So if you want to follow us, you can certainly do that. And we have updates on upcoming opportunities, job opportunities, etc. So with all that said, I want to thank everyone for tuning into this appointment or this session today on arts and media careers. And again, just happy to answer any questions that anyone might have in our last session here at the end, just to see if anyone does have any questions.